Hello, Monday. Coming at you live here at Inside Production Studios, Studio 110, Phoenix, Arizona. My name is Robert Morales, and I'm here with my wonderful and extraordinary and mindfully exquisite co-host, Miss Ashley Miller. Say hello, Miss Ashley.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you all. So, again, this is Robert Morales, RCO Network, coming at you live. Talking about the Phoenix housing market. So we're going to be talking about Phoenix, the houses, the buys, the sells, the hodls, everything all encompassing when it deals to real estate. So if you're on YouTube right now, hit the like button and subscribe because you'll get videos like this every week. We come at you here live in studio every week. And then if you're on Facebook, give us the hearts because we love the loves more than the likes. So, Miss Miller, we're going all over a lot of things today and talking about Phoenix housing. And what you got for me? Anything hot and heavy?
Phenomena.
It's a phenomenon. Oh, she was all excited about this song that I've never heard of before.
Oh, shoot. I still can't believe you haven't heard of it.
Well, I probably have, but who knows? I'm old. I don't listen to music anymore.
When we were, Robert and I share a few articles back and forth throughout the week and, what's happening, what's going on. And we're like, that's interesting or that's boring. And I had read this article called The Starbucks Effect that Robert had sent me.
Oh, yeah.
And even before I opened up the article, I started dying laughing because where I just recently purchased my home, my middle son Ryder goes, "Mom, they have a Starbucks now. This is an upcoming neighborhood." And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, these kids pay attention to what I'm saying. And this conversation was had probably a month prior to you even sending me that article. And I thought it was so interesting because even children are paying attention. If you've got a Starbucks or a Dutch Brothers or, I don't know, what are the other fancy stores that people shop at that I don't? Sprouts.
Trader Joe's?
Trader Joe's. I don't know. I don't shop there. I have too many kids.
Is that bougie? So any kind of bougie kind of like overpriced place?
I mean, you could call
Starbucks
it Starbucks
is kind of overpriced.
I don't drink coffee. I don't.
Who are you?
So,
we can't hang out anymore. Coffee.
But Starbucks is freaking expensive, man. My kids always ask for Starbucks gift cards for like their birthdays or whatever's happening. And I'm going, why would you waste $5 on a coffee? It makes no sense to me. I don't get it. You can drink water.
It's just trendy.
It's trendy. So when you find these trendy, it's a perfect thing. When you find these trendy stores or whatever shops that are coming to that area, you will instantly know that your zip code is up and coming. What was the stat that I had read? It was like 0.05% home value increase if you have a Starbucks being built or that was recently built in your zip code. Mind blowing. Starbucks.
So if you want to buy a house next to a Starbucks, there's a chance your house could appreciate very relatively quickly.
0.05%.
Well, and if you read the article, I mean, if I go back to that real quick, the part of it too, it talks about gentrification and how it's not really Starbucks per se, but it's really the demographics around there that I guess request that type of trend or that type of purchase, or I guess of a place called Starbucks.
Well, our market is change. The trajectory of it is very unique because many people are staying in home. Let me backtrack. On the East Coast, it's very, very common for people to stay in home until they find their loved one, they fall in love, and then eventually they move out. Yeah. And in the West Coast, it's like we're out before we're even 18. We're out as fast as we can. But it's changing.
I guess I'm a West Coaster then.
We become more.
I left at 17.
An East Coast type of mentality, in my opinion, of course. No. More people are staying in the homes longer because our pricing, house pricing, has gone up, and even rentals have gone up.
Yeah, everything.
I mean, you can buy a house for a cheaper cost per month for purchasing it versus renting, townhome or apartment or a condo or whatever the case may be.
Well, and that's still the case today. I mean, we're starting to see, with heavy inflation, rental prices increased, I think, up to like 25% in areas. I wish I would have pulled those stats, but
I could pull them.
I didn't pull them up. There's certain things we prepared for today for the show. So if you want to go ahead and leave your comments and questions, we can get to them either today or perhaps next time. We're only on for about 30 minutes, but maybe less. We're the 15-minute show that takes 30.
Exactly. So
whatever.
Not too much.
We do talk a lot.
We want to encourage our youth.
Yeah.
When I say youth, that would be children, between the ages, I would say, 18 to, I don't know. I mean, Chris' son bought a house and he's 19 years old. So it depends on the situation. Interest rates are so low. So what do we do? We're like, interest rates are so low. They're like the lowest they've ever been. Okay, let's go buy a house. But then they're overextending themselves and not understanding what they're getting themselves into. Or do they stay at home? Or do they rent? Or, gosh, it's so convoluted.
And we talked about that too. People just overextending themselves. So people paying over list price. And actually, I do have stats regarding that. So I'm going to go ahead and put those up. So I'm so happy you brought that up, Ms. Miller.
Yes.
If I can find them.
Well, you're bringing that up. One of the very interesting facts that I've been noticing recently is, probably a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, if you had a home that you were listing over $1 million, it could stay on the market for a year, 18 months. It just depended on that. And now even these older homes that are approximately 2.3, I mean, basically anything over $1 million that still need updating are selling in, what was it? What did you pull up? Like 17 days or something crazy?
Yeah, it's about a 2-week turnaround.
Yeah, it's a 2-week turnaround for homes that are over $1 million versus, 3 years ago it would take 18 months. So it's just mind-blowing. So
we're bringing you information regarding the Phoenix market specifically. We know there's a lot of people out there talk about national statistics and information, brought to you on a national level. But we want to stay close to the home and to our heart of Phoenix here, because that's what we're trying to do. So if you look here, you can see closings per month have increased. So these are closings that have closed above the list price. So relatively 60% of homes have increased or have sold over their list price. So going in there as a buyer, you want to anticipate, just because it's a $400,000 house, probably not what you're going to offer, right. And based off of the information that we have here, you can kind of see in that price range, that $400,000 to $500,000 price range. Let's see, about 60% again are closing over list. Mm-hmm. But that price range, that $400 to $500 price range, you're looking at about $20,000 over list price.
Yeah.
So this is on average. So there's people that are paying more.
They are. And a lot of these people are purchasing these homes sight unseen, which again is just mind blowing to me. It's a phenomena.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like it's going to end anytime soon. And I think there are so many buyers out there who are first-time home buyers or people getting back into the market, especially after the 2010 crash, who are like hesitating and waiting for that signal. Like, oh, here it is. I waited this long. I waited for the crash. And is it going to happen is really the question.
There's not going to be a smoke signal, you guys. There's not. I mean, you just got to.
Because if there was, we'd bring it to you here. Because that's what we do. We bring information.
I feel like this is just me and the universe and my spirituality and how I think. If it feels right and in your gut you know it's right, then go for it. But if there's any inclination that you're making not a bad decision, a decision that may not suit you best, then step back. Because the worst thing you ever want to have is, yes, rates are low, homes are high, but you don't want to have any regrets on purchasing a home. I mean, it would be terrible.
Yeah, and we've talked before, Violet and I are looking for a home. We've been looking for a home for the last 9 months. And, when we first started, I wanted to get a home that was around $350,000 and be able to put some upgrades and fix it myself. And slowly, or I should say quickly, quickly that market just went away. Now there's really nothing under 400 that doesn't get, 20, 30 offers on there. And you have to offer over list price. And each home that we look at, we have to negotiate the price or at least do some quick comps in the area, because some of them are listed 20, 30,000 already over comp price.
Well, you said something, there was a trigger word you said, I can't remember what it was, but we were talking about that you wanted to fix it up yourself, right?
Yeah.
Well, now here's a new conversation, building material. Yeah. So now we buy these houses that are needing fixer-uppers, quote unquote, and we can't get contractors to come out there because they're far and few between. They can't get material because material is on back order. The cost of material has gone up. So now what do? Do we just step back and just wait for these homes to be bought by investors and have them remodel them for us? Yep. Charge us probably what we would have paid over and what we would have paid in the cost to fix it up and just be patient? Or do we buy a dilapidated house, still overpay pay over cash, and then do it ourselves and pray that we'll be able to find a contractor that'll be able to come in.
Well, see, that's what sucks about this current market environment. So you have a buyer that goes in and finally puts in a house or finally puts in an offer on a house. You already know they're going to offer more than they really can afford, honestly. I mean, if you're putting in 20, 30,000 above, you're really just kind of tapping into your savings, and you're tapping out the money you would have put down for a down payment, and you're tapping into the money you would have done to do repairs, because a lot of people are making purchases knowing that there's going to be repairs. But even to your point, even those repairs are going to be costly, and are they even going to be available?
Is
there lumber going to be available?
That's what I mean. Here's a perfect example is my front yard and my backyard look like
I want to see your backyard.
Dirt. It's legit. It has a beautiful pool, and then it's just dirt. And I've had people come out to quote it. Out of the 3 people that I've had come out, only one person, they come out, they measure it, they spend the time. Only one person sent me a quote back. And when he sent it back to me, sorry, Mike, I was like, what? I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, is he even going to be able to get the material to do it in a time frame that I want? And now I'm going, well, I have 3 boys at home. If I go to Home Depot, I buy the material. We can watch it on YouTube and teach them how to do it. It might not be perfect, but at what point do we sacrifice one thing for another? I'm not going to stare in an ugly backyard for the rest of my life, but I'm also not going to pay that amount of money. So how do we make that decision?
And if you were here before the show, you would have loved to hear the stories about her backyard. especially when the kids aren't around. I'm visiting Ashley when the kids
aren't.
aren't.
That was Chris's backyard.
Oh, shit.
He's got a beautiful.
That's an inside story.
Backyard.
So
but he's redoing.
I won't tell you what.
That's a great example as well. Is he's adding an addition onto his property, and this really cool game movie theater space and another bathroom, and it's literally just been sitting with 2x4s and plywood because they're waiting on the trusses. The trusses won't be here till July.
That's a long time.
Yeah, they started this in May. So now here we are, just an open room and sun shining down, beaten in, but July. It's incredible. Like, I can't even explain to you how when you go in to purchase a home and you have these really exciting ideas like, oh, I'm going to redo this, and I'm going to get this, and I'm going to do that. Really take into consideration, you got to do your recon on it for sure.
Well, what's fundamentally more important is not just upgrades, it's just normal repairs. Yeah. Is your AC unit going to even be there if there's a chip shortage, if there's a metal shortage, if there's shortages everywhere, and on top of it, there's inflation when you do get the unit? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just so many things to consider. And if you overextend yourself on the purchase and you paid, $50,000, $60,000 above that, where are you left at?
Yeah.
Where are you left at? And so an interesting point, too, what I want to bring up, since we're talking about that, too. We just kind of like flow along right into the next thing. Yeah. We just flow along right into the next thing. That's what we do here at Monday Market 15. We're here to bring you information. So if you have any comments or questions, go put those in the comment section below. We'll get to them as we go along. But like I said, took that off. So the thing we have to consider, the thing we have to worry about is this stuff right here. So inflation. Normal inflation is running at about 4.2%, right? And let's say you get a wage increase. Let's say you get,
Sure.
So a normal wage increase or average wage increase right now in the Phoenix area is running at about 3.5%.
Right, we're still under.
So even if you get that 3.5% raise, guess what? Inflation's 4%. So you're really paying more for products than you really should be. That includes housing. That includes all the products to fix the housing. That includes all the repairs. You're not really beating inflation, and so you have to figure out a way to do that.
This is kind of a cool story. I always have cool stories.
She has a lot of cool stories.
So the backyard did have grass in it. I let the grass die because I wanted to put fake grass in there, and I didn't want to waste water watering grass that we weren't going to keep. But we had this like travertine, and the travertine was kind of like blocks or bricks of travertine that went through, and the boys pulled them all up, and I didn't even have to ask him, which was super awesome. Ryder was like, I'm bored one day, and he goes, do you mind if I
need
get a hammer and take this all up? I was like, heck yeah.
I need to borrow some of those.
So I put it on OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace for free. Within less than an hour, I had 25 people reach out to me that they wanted to come pick it up. Unbeknownst to me, travertine is actually really freaking expensive. I thought it was ugly. I legit thought it was ugly. I was like, this is so ugly. So this really nice couple from Sun City came out and they picked it up and they loaded their truck full to is the max they possibly could before the truck started, like, you know, kind of bottoming out. And they were just so grateful and so thankful. And I was like, what? So then I get online and go, that's why they love me so much. And they were like, we're going to be there in 45 minutes, drive as fast as we can. Please don't get rid of it before we get there. And I was like, okay. And then they left it a little bit because they just couldn't take it. And so I had taken another picture and I reposted and I said, hey, somebody picked up, this is what's left over. Another guy came with his son and they picked it up and he's like, he's a massage therapist. Like, I'll give you a free massage, like for a trade. And I was like, okay. I mean, yeah, I would love a massage, but to me, I just wanted to get rid of it. So one of my suggestions, the reason I'm telling this story is you'd be very surprised when you go on Nextdoor. If you guys aren't on the Nextdoor app for your neighborhood, get on there. It's incredible. You can find, so I offer up my kids on there. Get it? Offer up. My children on there. And to do, you know, they want some cash to buy a video game or Starbucks and things that I refuse to pay for.
Yep.
And people will hire them and they'll pay them like $20 an hour because they know that I'm their mother and I'm going to drop them off and they're going to work hard because they want to buy something.
Yeah.
And
they Starbucks.
Hindsight, yeah, they're going to pay a little bit more per hour, but at least the job's going to get done.
Yeah.
And it's going to get done in a time frame that they want it done. And that's super cool. So again, go on Nextdoor. You can post if you need work done in your yard. You can post that if you want to learn about your neighborhood and what's happening, if they have a Starbucks. And it's a great social platform to chat with, and there's tons of other cool things about it. But finding building materials on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, even Craigslist is still around. You still go on Craigslist. There's a few things you can do to get material at a lesser cost because you'll find a ding dong like me that's like, I don't want this travertine. You can just pick it up for free. Come to find out, I probably could have sold it for like $2,000.
Well, I know now to troll you on OfferUp.
I got nothing left. I got nothing left except I got kids that will work, and I have grass. Not even grass. I have dead grass.
Oh boy! So we're about 10 minutes before the end of the show today. So we're taking those questions and comments as they come along. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook here, LinkedIn, wherever you're coming from. Go ahead and put those comments and questions in there. We'll get those.
And heart
and give us some hearts. Give us some hearts because that's what we love. We love the lows here at Monday Market 15. Ashley loves the lows, and she loves this song.
I do.
And this is a non-copyrighted song, so I can't play the other songs you want to play.
I know. That's so crazy. The copywriting rules. Copywriting rules are so intense, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
so another thing I wanted to bring up is, sorry, I'm all over the place with my thought process.
That's just normal.
Prepping to purchase a home. So here we are, depending on your age group, right? So the parents are the parents. And, you know, I've got children that eventually hopefully in 5 years, my oldest will buy his first home. But prepping them and preparing them. Are we prepping them, putting them on our credit cards? If you're good with your credit card, don't add your child to your credit card if you are not good at it.
Well, at least don't give them a card.
No, you don't give them a card. So each one of my kids is under one of my credit cards. And I only have a credit card just to have credit. I rarely ever use it. I think I'm at like 3% as far as what I charge on it. But I added each one of my kids to each one of my credit cards. So by the time they turn 18, they can build their credit.
Yeah.
I did a quote unquote college type fund that can be taken out to use for college or to purchase one of their first homes if they wanted to. So for the people out there that have children, prepping them, getting them ready, because they're going to be our next generation of who is purchasing homes. And they will, they're our future. There's a song for that too. Children are our future. Who sings that? Whitney Houston?
I don't know.
Pretty sure she does.
I stick to 70s, like mid-rock kind of stuff.
But never, in my opinion, and you as a real estate agent, and
yes.
please correct me if I'm wrong, because this is my biased opinion being in the real estate world.
Yes. Well, you are entitled. Technically.
Yeah, entitled. But being biased, I don't think it's appropriate for anybody to just go out and purchase a home sight unseen, and they're not prepared. They don't have a game plan. They're just like, I like that house. I'm going to buy it. I'll pay the $50,000 over without doing the research.
Well, And the question I have for you is, what kind of buyer are you? There's plenty of investors out there that'll purchase a property sight unseen.
Well, not investors. We're talking about the
regular home buyer.
Regular home buyer. You're buying it for your family, for your future.
If it's for you and your kids, and this is like the forever home, and I use that in quotations because people have that idea that this is going to be the one thing that they do, and they find that there's usually several homes. You know, when I was 21, I bought my first house. I thought that was the forever home, and 5 houses later, I'm in my condo.
Right.
I've had some fluctuation. I've had a divorce, and a couple other things going on. But as far as a buyer's concerned, to answer your question, never waive an inspection.
Yeah.
Never do that. At least not the inspection period to where you have a chance to view the property. You may feel inclined to waive the appraisal right now, depending on your agent, depending if he can pull good numbers for you, and you are well informed when you make that offer.
Right,
so if your house is listed, if a house is listed at 300, the comps are coming in around 300, and you make a conscious offer to offer, based on the stats, 16 to 20,000 over that list price, so you're making a 420 offer.
But you prep them, right? That was you're prepping your clients to know that they need to do this.
So they need to be informed. This is the environment. This is what you're going to be spending. If we can't get an appraisal at the 420, you're most likely going to be spending 20,000 over a list. But do not waive the appraisal. There are certain situations.
No,
the inspection.
Yeah,
do not waive the inspection. There was one time that I made an offer for me, for personally for me, where I waived the inspection, and only because it was a year old. I looked at the AC units and everything else, and I was inclined for myself to waive that inspection period. I didn't win the offer. I'm still looking for a house.
Well, I'm going to be combative though about that, because just because it's a year old doesn't mean it doesn't have problems.
Correct.
There are homes that are 30 years old that don't have problems, but then there's homes that are a year old that do have problems. So I always suggest, and may I, because
yes, you may.
As
you're entitled.
A woman and mom.
You're entitled because you're entitled.
Yeah, entitled. I think if you are going to make the decision to waive the inspection, whether you have a handyman that's your brother, your sister, your friend, your cousin, just have them come out, get in the attic real quick, walk across the trusses, check the AC, check the pool, make sure, pay $100 to the pool guy to come out and make sure there's no cracks or any of that stuff, because waiving that $400 inspection could cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So in my opinion, if you are going to waive it, whether it's a year old or 50 years old, at least have somebody close to you that you know, like, and trust that will come through and just kind of do a walkthrough real quick and check it out, because God forbid if something were to happen, you wouldn't, for me, I would not forgive myself. And, would you be mad at your agent? Would you be mad at Robert if Robert said,
I wouldn't blame you either.
You know what? Client, friend, buyer, consumer, whatever you call it, however you will identify yourself as, buying a home, and you waived it and Robert agreed with you, will you go back to Robert and be like, God, you're such a jerk. Ugh, I can't believe you let me waive the inspection. Now what? My air conditioning went out, or this happened, And what would that look like? So that's why I asked you the question. Prepping your clients and preparing them to understand how much money they're going to have to come in over, as well as know the repercussions of waiving an inspection.
I asked Ashley before the show to give her best Napoleon Dynamite impression.
Oh, you got
it! She just totally got it.
Yes, you knew what I was talking about.
Duh. God,
eat your food, Tina.
Oh boy. So to that point though, there was a situation where I had an inspection, and this was a couple years ago. They did not put in the insurance claims history that there was a fire in the house.
Oh, shucks.
And so when they did the inspection, there was a big enough gap in the roof to where the inspector could actually look around. Some of the newer ceilings now are like a foot long. You can't. There's no crawl space whatsoever. But this was a home built in the 80s, and when he did his initial inspection, he's like, "Hey, there's a lot of fire damage in here, or at least a lot of black charring. I think there was a fire." And it wasn't until we investigated a little bit further and got the full clue report. Yeah. Because they only have to give up to about 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Of insurance claims history, but this was like about 9 years before, and there was still some charring back there. And so without that inspection, we would never known that. And the buyer at the time said, "Hey, you know what? I don't want this," and walked away.
And you proved my point. It doesn't matter. I mean, and I'm so glad you pointed that out about the Clue report in 5 years. It's so important. Again, this goes back to prepping, preparing. What was it called? The 5 P's, like proper preparation prevents poor performance.
That's a lot of P's.
It is.
Did you write those down?
The 5 P's.
If you're out there, please write those down.
Meaning that as long as you are prepped properly and understand the repercussions, meaning performance of your property will be up to your standards, and you won't have a charred addict or a charred. I mean, I don't know. I don't know much about fires in a house. I mean, well, actually, I do. I had a house burned down when I was 4 years old, and I had a house burned down when I was 13.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
for the flu. Good. Oh, this is another thing. This goes back to the same thing. So we had this house on Union Hills, and it was during Christmas time, and had a fire in it, and something was wrong in the flue, and it went up. It was just one of the tract homes, stucco homes, and it got caught up there, and the entire house burnt down. Imagine being 13 years old, and there goes your house because of the flute. So there's certain things that are so important to have inspected. Like, just don't waive it. Don't waive it. Waive the appraisal, fine. If you have cash money, right?
Yeah.
Fine. But most of us don't just have cash sitting around like that where we can just throw it out.
Yeah, not too many. But, you did talk about performance. How important is performance to you, Ashley?
It's very, very important. So you need to have a team.
Oh, yes.
That will perform for you.
Oh, yes.
So when I use the word team,
keep talking.
You have to have your realtor.
Oh, yes. Hi, that's me.
You have to have your title company.
Oh, yeah. That's Ashley Miller, title.
Great American title. You need to have people on your side that are going to perform for you, and they're going to help you prep and prepare to find a home for you. I know, I'm making buying a house sound so scary, but man, now
it is an overwhelming experience if you haven't done it before.
Yeah,
but it's also
done it before.
Oh,
this is just scary.
So you've done it before? I'm just kidding. No, so it is a very daunting.
I have 3 kids.
Oh boy. So it is.
That show's next Thursday.
Yeah. Tune in next Thursday for Ashley's performance and other things. I screwed up there. Never mind. Anyway, we're talking about housing with Ashley Miller. And then Alyssa Glutz says, love you both. Hello, Alyssa. Hello.
Oh, I love you, Alyssa.
Miss Glutz.
See, and Alyssa would be a great person to have on your team. She's a lender.
Yeah.
And she is so smart. And if you guys ever need, we're talking about credit. Yep. One of the things that I learned from Alyssa, and I remember calling Alyssa, and I was 36 years old, so it was about I'll be 39 this year. I was like, I don't have a credit.
You don't look 39.
I have a credit
this
card.
lighting is awesome.
Thank you. That actually kind of sounded rude. Like, the lighting's the only thing that's making me look good. Just kidding. So anyway, Alyssa, I had a great conversation with her. She has a book called Color My Credit and course called Color My Credit, which really helps you understand how to manage your credit and prepare yourself to purchase a home. And I think it's phenomenal. Most people do not understand the concept of credit. So since Alyssa and I have had conversations, at 36 years old, I got my first credit cards, and it was prepaid. That was embarrassing. I was like, can I get a $200 prepaid credit card? And I'm 36, and you've never had a credit card. And I'm like, no, because I grew up old school, cash is king. If you don't have cash, you can't buy it. You shouldn't buy it. So Alyssa taught me some really amazing things. And on top of that, educating on how we can prepare our future, like our children. If you don't have children, that's okay. When you do, at least you'll know how to prepare them and get them ready for when they get into that space. So Alyssa's a bomb. She's amazing. She is not only a lender, she's not only a single mom of 2 awesome, beautiful girls, but she will rock your credit. She'll rock your world. She will color it. She'll teach you some pretty phenomenal things. She has a great book. I don't know, Alyssa, if you're still listening and you want to put where you can buy your book, I believe you can buy Color My Credit on Amazon or reach out to her.
Yeah, I think and she's given out copies, and I gave all mine out like a year ago.
It's just such great information. Yeah. I mean, if anybody, I feel like you can buy a house if you do have, credit that's a little bit low, but gosh, if you could really figure out the credit system, or what's the word I'm looking for? It's a game, the credit game.
Yeah.
If you can figure out the credit game, you can really get your credit up and now buy a house with even a lower interest rate. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I said, like we were talking about, we're nearing the end of the show. We're at 30 minutes already. It goes by that quick. We love how much Ashley talks sometimes. Only sometimes. But we're here at the end of the show, and I want to appreciate you for always bringing the information that. And the biggest takeaway is, again, don't overextend yourself.
Okay.
You know, a home is a home. It's not a forever thing. A home is really a family. You know, until you get your family in line to have every assurance that they're going to be taken care of, doesn't always mean buying a house, or at least not in this market. So whoever's in your team, whoever's your support network, please reach out to them, and they will be able to guide you a little bit better and give you the information that is important to you. You know, and if it is spending $80,000 over list price, then that's really a personal decision. You know, and there's people out there to kind of help you and direct you where to go. And Ashley's one of them. Miss Miller.
Thank you. I
From Great
appreciate
American
it.
Tile.
You know, one of my favorite lines, and we'll close with this, is anybody can make a house a home. You can make a house a home. You just have to be prepared.
That's
with
awesome.
your right team.
So I want to thank Miss Miller for joining us live here in Studio 110, Phoenix, Arizona, Insight Production Studios. This is Rob Morales, Ashley Miller. We'll be catching you guys next Monday.
Next week.
See you guys later.